Paula, and I'm going to talk about my wonderful country, Colombia. Colombia has part of amazing region that is Amazon, where we can find the richest rainforest around the world and the most diverse in the region and then on the planet too. Also, Colombia have other region that the name is Los Llanos or Orinoquia region, where we can find flat landscapes and the most beautiful sunrise and sunsets. Both Amazon and Orinoquia region have the most biodiverse ecosystems around the world, and also have a wide variety of flora, endemic flora and fauna in our planet. In addition, Colombia is diverse in terms of cultural and people. Both Llanos and Amazon region have more than 80 family or native groups that represent 2.3% of Colombian population. These groups talk more than 60 languages or endemic languages in our country. The most representative groups in these regions are Sucuani, Cuiva, and Guayabero, that is in the Orinoquia region, and Muncalmacu and Wicotos, that is from the Amazon. All of them are nomadic tribes that is very represented in our planet. So let me show you what is happening with that groups.
Se encuentra en el interior de este río. En Colombia tenemos 102 pueblos indígenas, de los cuales 36 se encuentran en el interior de este río. Ellos son las víctimas de la guerra, del abandono estatal y del modelo de desarrollo económico. No podemos seguir siendo testigos silenciosos de esta institución sin hacer nada. Los indígenas son la verdadera riqueza de nuestro país y nunca será un obstáculo para nuestro desarrollo. Ellos no tienen el bienestar de la humanidad y la protección de la madre tierra. La extinción es para siempre. Relacionemos ya.
I hope you understand that, Billy, because this is my native language. So, as Billy says, one of the reasons that this extinction is happening, it's happening for two reasons. The first one is the illicit crops. The coca bush and cannabis are cultivated in our rainforest, and this is doing for illegal groups. The second one is the war in the jungle. Jungle's native or children from the native tribes are forced to join guerrillas or paramilitary groups. The third one is the oil and mining company. That we know that the presence of these companies in the savannas increase the deforestation of endemic trees or other kind of plants. And the last one is the deficit of healthy food. We know that the native diet depends on the nature, because for a long time he feed from endemic plants like ñame, yuca, plátano, and other herbals that are important for the ecological knowledge. So what is my idea? My idea is to join 3 different populations to decrease the extinction of the tribes in Colombia. The first one is the oil and mining companies. We know that kind of companies have a lot of money, so you have to, all these companies must to have a corporate social responsibility program where you have to invest in different projects in order to help the communication in these areas. The second population is the farmers. That is farmers that they have the lands where you can cultivate different crops. And the last one, that is our target population, that is the native people. So if we join these 3 populations, we can create a lot of miles of crops from different endemic plants like yuca, tomatoes, and other typical plants in that region. So if we have food and we can preserve that endemic plants, we can have a better future for the children, the native children, that can preserve our ecological and inherited knowledge in Colombia. That's it. Questions? Comments?
Questions, comments?
Do you know what is the departamento? No sé, departamento.
The departments, yeah.
What is the department that have more these problems?
At this moment is El Meta. In my own experience, we have a farmer close to the Pacific Borealis energy company, and we suppose that have a lot of benefits. But next to my farm, we can find a Sukwani group, yeah, and they are very, I don't know how to explain that, they are very angry about the companies, the oil companies, because they say that the oil companies pollute the waters and the soils. So my idea with my family and the oil company is try to create a space or a territory where they can cultivate their plants. You know, if they have a little greenhouse, but very little, but they want to be a biggest crops, because 10 years ago they used to have that kind of crops, that kind of territory. Now they feel very, how do you say, vulnerable in front of that situation. So it's a real project.
I'm excited about your topic because I'm doing some research in Puerto Gaitan, near Puerto Gaitan, in the Sicuani communities.
Yes.
And one of the entrance that we gained into these communities to collect our data was ironically through a guy who is working for Pacific Borealis in the region, and he's the lawyer in charge of corporate social responsibility. So my question is, I was surprised because I've talked to Andres about this, but I had a lot of prejudices about transnational companies, and especially oil and mining companies, and about obviously the many, many negative sides of these projects. But I also found that when there's a good relationship between individuals, members of the community and members of the company, that progress can be made. I'm not saying the injustice is going to be erased, but progress can be made towards these kinds of social projects. In my case, it's education. So I want to know, in your case, you said your family has a farm. How do you think establishing these relationships between our very, very Western culture and concept of things and the indigenous communities where there's a very different concept of a lot of things can be possible?
Okay. Our idea in my family is to cultivate, I don't know how you say in English, probably
Oak.
oak, but it's a native oak that at this moment is being extincted. So our idea is to create a conscious, not only for native, but native people have the conscious about that, the importance of that kind of endemic plants. But we try to create conscious, for example, for employees from the oil companies, in order to preserve that kind of things. So, for example, the roble oak is very important for produce a kind of caoutchouc.
Caoutchouc? Yes,
I don't know how do you say caoutchouc.
No.
Rubber.
Rubber?
Rubber.
Rubber. And that rubber is very strong, that you can open very wide and doesn't happen. So idea is to find the use of the endemic plants, in my case, and for other people, this knowledge that came from the native people be economical, sustainable. I mean, for example, in my family, we have to cultivate that oak in order to make money, of course, but in order to preserve the native oak that now is being extinct.
So you're talking about like some kind of exchange of knowledge.
Yes, that's what. Yeah. Sometimes the native people is very.
Exactly, that was my question. So I know because I went, and at the beginning it was very hard to open up a dialogue with them because they have a lot of good reasons to have like this rejection of white people.
And the first mice that we cultivate for that oak, they burn that mice. It was a lot of, we lost a lot of money for this reason. So we went to the tribe and tried to talk with them what is our idea. At the beginning they don't understand, they only say, you only think about money, you only want to follow the old company. But at this moment they understand what is our final idea, to preserve that kind of oak.
Huh. Interesting. Other questions for Paula?
More suggestion idea. I don't know, well, I talked with the teacher about that, but in these cases, almost all the time here in Colombia, the people don't use good tools to do these kind of things. For example, here in the university, in the area of design, the designers are available to help with very amazing tools to do these kind of things. How to study the community, how to talk with the community, how to, for example, if you want to use the, how do you call this? Robbers. You say, okay, we have the robber, but what we can do with these things? Well, here in the design area, we can help you to all the things. We can do something, we can help with the tools, but how do you understand the community? But because that is one of the most difficult things that all the people have to understand communities, to understand the people, to understand what the people want.
That's true, but unfortunately, the people who cares about that things is foreign people. If you went to the town close to my farm, is Puerto Lopez, and is 15 hours from my farm to Puerto Lopez. Is 15 hours. It's far away, and the only person that care about that is people from France or Germany, and that is, it's not fair. I don't know, but if you went to Villavicencio and you offer the rubber, other things, they don't care. So the problem is to be conscious about our